In today's video, we're rewinding the clock once again for a valuable lesson in how not to obliterate your capital and why it's important to have a very strong thesis as to why you're investing in a company over the long term as opposed to an emotional / bipolar trader mentality. At the time of this recording, Tesla stock was $170 per share, and in this video, roughly 8 months old, while many were panic selling and I was loading up hand over fist and explaining exactly that, we had the perspective of a Tesla bull, so credit where it's due, amazing call coming up, and a DMF also known as a Tesla bear. Now, to avoid any confusion, each time I jump in here today, Stephen talking to you from December 2024, I will introduce myself as current Stephen because I'm reacting to a video where you'll also hear my voice reacting to commentary, so it might get a little bit confusing. First, let's hear what Dan Ives had to say about Tesla around $170 per share when bulls were dropping like flies. Remember, this was less than a year ago.
Before we let you go, though, I wanted to actually come back to Tesla and just have you respond to this Wells Fargo note today, questioning obviously significant discounts, profit per car coming way down, and their price target at Wells now, I think, 125.
Yeah, we strongly disagree with him. Obviously, we respect the analysts and the call, but I think right now overly negatively discounted in terms of the Tesla story. Look, near term, clearly units are going to be soft for 1Q. Just getting back from the region, I believe price cuts are now starting to subside in China. That's important. I think when you look through the next 6-9 months, we're going to look at this as more of a golden buying opportunity for Tesla over the next 2-3 years.
President Stephen here, and amazingly, this call has aged like a fine fucking wine. Tesla stock has more than doubled. And he said next 6-9 months. It's 8 months later. Absolutely nailed it. Credit where it's due. Bow down to Dan Ives. But seriously though, it was kind of obvious that this valuation made no sense. Stock's currently $389 as I recall. This more than doubling in less than 9 months after Dan made this very bullish call, strongly disagreeing with a very bearish note from a DMF at Wells Fargo. Let's skip ahead a little bit and see what else happened in this video. Time to hear from the bear that Dan was referring to, who he strongly disagreed with, who, this is so funny, dude. 8 months ago, downgraded his Tesla stock price target to $125 per share. Let me just check in here. I'm not very good at math. Let me see here. 125 plus 125 plus 125 equals 375 equals less than Tesla currently is now, less than 9 months later. Congratulations, you fucking idiot. I'm just kidding. Obviously, he had a lot of good reasons at the time. That's why when we see this video, past Stephen is certainly not going to roast him and say probably it won't age well, and because, I mean, nobody could possibly have seen Tesla surging and getting back to a slightly more reasonable valuation less than a year later, right? He was right to be bearish because all of the analysts were becoming bearish. They were capitulating one after the other, and Dan was the only one who held steady, and he was obviously deluded, and it's just luck that Tesla has now reached more than 3 times the price target this guy had. Oh, this is good. Anyway, let's see what he and I had to say back then. And again, there's a reason for this, folks. The reason I'm revisiting a few of these videos of late is so you don't fuck up and miss opportunities like this in the future. Everyone was panicking. Long-term Tesla bulls, fund managers, dickheads who create content on YouTube, apart from me. I am a dickhead, by the way, who creates content on YouTube. I'm just not a dumb fuck who was selling and panicking, selling Tesla stock, right? They were all dumping the stock, turning bearish. Why? Because the stock was down. Nothing meaningful about the business over the long term had changed. Some short-term headwinds, just groupthink, sheeple, herd mentality. This is how you miss opportunities. Anyway, let's see what I had to say and what he had to say back then. And now, more Tesla FUD and or capitulation from analysts. Tesla stock downgraded at Wells Fargo.
Tesla's getting hit with a big downgrade to underweight from equal weight over at Wells Fargo, citing numerous headwinds ahead. The firm expects volume to disappoint and also lowered its price target from $200 a share to $125. Here's the analyst who made that call, Colin Langan. Phil also on the line with us. Colin, welcome. Good to see you. I'm curious, what is the market share of Tesla in the U.S. Among total automobile sales, auto and truck sales, and among EV sales? What kind of share do they have?
I mean, they're very small into the overall market. I mean, they're very large in EVs. I mean, what we're seeing, and that was the point of our report today, is that we're actually looking at the impact of the price cuts are surprisingly low at this point. We saw volume actually, if you look at first half to second half globally, up just 3%, and pricing was down 5%. And that's really what driving our lower deliveries. We're expecting deliveries to be about flat this year.
So it's President Stephen just jumping in here now. I've noticed, by the way, I probably said this at the time too, who knows, barely remember. You notice how Colin here is talking about Tesla's automotive business. Price cuts not really driving volume, deliveries. If you think Tesla is just a car company, you could be forgiven for having a $120 price target. But surely no one's that dim to think Tesla's just a car company. I mean, months later, right, we've seen what's happening with autonomy, and this was obvious at the time. Tesla's since unveiled the dedicated cybercab. We knew that was coming. We can see what the software's doing. FSD V12, the massive rewrite, vision only. That was well before this went to air. Now, I don't want to be too mean to Colin here, but based on what I'm hearing already, and again, the stock's tripled since this abomination of a call, he may not be qualified to cover Tesla because he doesn't see what they actually are. Maybe he's an automotive analyst. He probably is. And so he looks at Tesla through automotive coloured lenses and ignores everything else. And what else could explain this absolutely terrible call? Anyway, back to the past video and possibly past Stephen's comments. God, this is confusing.
Because we're really expecting more limited ability to cut price. Otherwise, you're going to hit a point where you're not very profitable anymore.
So you cut price, you hope volume will increase, but you're not seeing the kind of volume increase that is commensurate with the price cuts. What about this Model 2 that they expect to bring out in 2025? Is it going to be a game changer, or is it too little too late here?
Well, I mean, I think that was the other part of our report today. We were looking at the potential for Model 2. I mean, and one of the things that really is concerning to me is that it's different from other launches. This is a mass market priced SUV. That's going to be very tough to do. I mean, the actual, if you go to an internal combustion engine, compact vehicle today, they're not very profitable.
Oh, God, wait, just holy fuck, Jesus Christ. It's future Stephen here, or present Stephen again. God damn it, dude. So, God, it's hard not to just absolutely destroy this guy. He just made the reference to a future Tesla product, a more affordable mass market vehicle, being challenging by reason of analogy because today compact internal combustion engine SUVs are not very profitable. Now, I don't want to be too much of a dick, but god damn, this guy's a dumb fuck. First of all, as we know, electric vehicle costs are plunging over time. The battery is the most expensive thing and its cost is continuing to plummet. The second most expensive thing of any note, computer, also riding declining cost curves. So the most expensive stuff in the vehicle getting predictably more affordable over time. That's not true of ICE vehicles. In addition, Tesla had already unveiled their unboxed manufacturing system for the next-gen vehicle to massively reduce the cost to produce. And we've seen evidence over years where Tesla has done massive innovation in terms of electric vehicle manufacturing, gigacasting, octovalve, the heat pump. Everything that they've been doing in terms of manufacturing their vehicles has massively driven costs down. Today, you can get a Model 3/Model Y with comparable or superior performance to the earlier Model S about a decade ago for a fraction of the price. How did that happen? The same cost declines have not occurred in internal combustion engine vehicles. So the idea that Tesla would struggle to make money selling a more affordable mass market vehicle, when we look at their history of massively driving costs to produce vehicles down through innovations in manufacturing, plus the battery costs coming down, makes no sense. Why would you use this as an example as to whether it would be difficult for Tesla to make a profit on a next-gen vehicle by comparing it to something completely unrelated? Oh, I know the answer. Automotive analyst. Tesla's just a car company. God, this guy's clearly not qualified to cover Tesla. Anyway, let's go back to what he and I had to say at the time. I heard a very fearful word there describing his thoughts about the next-gen vehicle. So, certainly not easy to do. In fact, one might even go as far as to say it would require a revolution in manufacturing techniques to drive out enough cost. All right, President Stephen here again. I'm saying the same shit I already just said, so let's move on.
Production, which is the new manufacturing methodology they plan on launching with the Model 2. That's a bit of a wild card. It's just never been done before.
So, President Stephen here again, about to go back to past Stephen. God damn, this is confusing. And I remember this. He at least mentioned Tesla's next-gen manufacturing system, but then goes on to say, well, it's never been done before, therefore it's hard. No shit, Sherlock. When did Tesla ever not do something that had never been done before that was really difficult and then eventually pull it off, causing massive disruption? This is so dumb. It's like, oh, well, it's never been done before, therefore... Duh! That's the whole point. But Tesla has a history of doing things that have never been done before. It's called disruption. They have a massive track record. I'm not even going to go back to what I had to say at the time, because I probably said the exact same thing, which I do every day anyway. God, this guy's so stupid. I mean, I really mean this. Like, he might be smart outside of analysing Tesla, but he's absolutely unqualified to look at this company. You have to take into account their track record. You've got to give the company the benefit of the doubt by now. They have a decade and a half long track record, more, of doing things that the industry thought was impossible, extremely difficult, challenging, over and over and over. You can no longer take the position, oh, well, it'd be very hard to do, so they probably can't do it. You idiot. I'm going to skip ahead again to see what he had to say at the time. No point in me repeating myself twice over. All right, here we go. Let's see what else he's got to say.
What does unboxed production mean? I noted it in your note, and I wasn't sure what it meant.
Yeah, I mean, it is a new term. No one has actually done it before. So the idea is it's a change in the entire assembly line. And from experts that we talked to, you know, they're
President Stephen here again. Oh, fuck. I probably did the exact same thing at the time, bro. Did you hear that from experts we talked to? Mistake number one. Outsourcing your thinking to the so-called experts. Like the so-called experts who thought electric vehicle sales would be like 0.1% of all vehicles sold this year, just a few years ago. I have to say it right. Today, expert is a pejorative term. It's an insult. It's derogatory. If you describe someone as an expert, I think they're a fucking idiot. Now, look, there are a few exceptions, but most of the time, expert means moron. Today, the experts think that Tesla's autonomous software has no point of difference to anything else in the marketplace. It cruises way more ahead. Oh, god damn it. I'm sure I said the exact same thing at the time. I'm not even going to bother listening to what I had to say. I can just feel it coming. Let's see what else Colin has to say.
$10,000 per car. So if you could double that, there's like $4,000 to $5,000 in benefit. You really kind of need most of that benefit to get Model 2 to probably profitability given the powertrain costs you'll be adding.
Phil?
Hey, Colin, it's Phil LeBeau here. I'm curious, when you look at all of the headwinds, not just for Tesla, but for electric vehicles overall, what do you believe is the biggest one right now? Is it the fact that we're not seeing enough models at the lower price points that would drive sales? Is it the concerns about range adoption or range anxiety, charger anxiety that is out there? What do you think is the number one headwind?
I mean, I think number one has been pricing. I think it's, and I think it's just the price. I also think we need sort of SUVs too, so I'm not sure a small vehicle actually necessarily addresses that for what Americans want. So I think one, people want more affordable EVs, and then two, it's always been charging. But the one thing we talk about in the industry, and one reason we're cautious on all of the Detroit 3 as well, so we're pretty cautious on the automakers right now, is the fact that there's still regulations coming. So the industry is going to be a really tough spot here because the automakers are going to need to sell more EVs to hit those standards, which means everyone's going to be forcing these vehicles into the market, which is never very good for profitability when that happens.
I mean, I don't want to call peak FUD, but I think we're pretty close to at least peak fear. Although between you and I, as I've said trillions of times, barely even exaggerating, I hope it continues. The cheaper Tesla stock, the better. I think Dan I's earlier comments are going to age like wine. Oh, hi, it's President Stephen again, and holy shit, I called that, as in I called Dan calling it. This was about peak fear. At the time, Tesla stock has gone vertical since, more than doubled. Again, the valuation didn't make sense. People were just capitulating one after the other, dropping like flies. Made no sense. Here we fucking are. A lot of people get caught up in this noise at the time. You see this analyst, this guy in a suit, seems to make sense. Oh, no one's done it before. Demand, sales are soft, price cuts on. Tesla's just a car company. Next minute, the guy's getting roasted. Less than 9 months later. Bro, I'm just going to again say this right. Less than a year ago, this guy had a 12-month price target on Tesla. The stock's now 3 times higher and then some. Of course, it could have gone even lower. I would have just been buying more. And by the way, at the time, I did buy with every spare cent. So I will never have any regrets around Tesla. Man, I wish I could go back in time and buy more. I bought all of it, as much as I could, constantly for the last 8+ years. Anyway, back to past Stephen. Just to wrap up here today, I have to say, Tesla stock closing at essentially the perfect price. $169 per share. Nice. That equates to a market cap of just $531 billion. Spitting distance from its 52-week low of just over $150. Let's check back in 2 or 3 years and see how Dan Ives' comments have aged. President Stephen here again. We didn't need to wait that long, did we? And I just want to wrap up. The reason I'm revisiting a couple of these videos around peak FUD less than a year ago is as a teaching tool. Those of us who didn't panic sell, in fact, those of us who panic bought at these levels, have approximately 0 regrets. The major mistakes that I saw people making at the time were some combination of the following. Number 1, having no idea what Tesla is. Not having built a valuation model that probabilistically weights things like autonomy, the humanoid robot, looks at a variety of potential outcomes. Not actually understanding the company. Thinking they are just a car company as opposed to one of the world's leading AI companies that happen to also make vehicles and batteries and a few other things as well. And to ignore their points of difference, their unassailable lead, their technology, their rate of progress, their track record, their history, to ignore all of that. To not understand that temporarily sky-high interest rates having surged from almost 0 to 10 trillion%, close enough, would have an impact over the short term on big-ticket purchases like vehicles. That's one of the mistakes. Not knowing what the fuck Tesla is, or not thinking about the implications of short-term headwinds that eventually go away. Number 2, outsourcing your thinking to experts. Don't ever do that. Use your own fucking brain. Also a big mistake. I mean, the so-called experts had, and probably still do, have Tesla last on the quote autonomy leaderboard. RIP. The next mistake a lot of people have made is just following the herd. One after one, as Tesla stock plunged, Endless, who previously had a $300 price target near 300, which by the way, on screen now, in that same 12-month period when this video was recorded, that was the 52-week high, right? So most of the Endless are around 300 at that point. Just start chasing the stock down and then making up reasons as to why their price target's gone lower. I got a lot of comments, bro, you're so dumb, look, why are you going to change your price target, man? It's gone down a lot. No. If something meaningful changed to my thesis and my estimates for the different Tesla scenarios, then yes, my price target changes because I changed the numbers in my valuation model, e.g. profit margin this year on automotive, vehicles sold, average selling price, energy revenue. If those numbers change, then my fair valuation, aka price target, changes. Otherwise, it doesn't. If you've built your own valuation model, it helps you get through these periods where everyone else is capitulating. So another mistake people made was following the herd. Wait, are you bearish on Tesla? I should be bearish too. Better sell, better panic sell. Idiots. Another mistake many people made was a combination of the desperate need for the approval of those within your social circle, possibly your neighbors. By the way, I'm not specifically referring to any forms of sentient hair gel when I say that. It's a generic term. Who got the message from the fake news that Elon bad, therefore Tesla bad, therefore I better sell my Tesla because Elon bad and I want people to approve of me, so I'll tell everybody I'm selling my Tesla so I get the approval of my 3 neighbors who hate Elon too because the media told them he's bad. And the final mistake people made was listening to the media in the first place. I got receipts for days, motherfuckers. You can go back and watch the videos, everything I had to say at the time. To distill my comments at the time when Tesla was close to $150 a share, valuation doesn't make sense. I'm buying hand over fist. I'll probably be glad I did in a few years' time. And none of the things these bears are saying make sense. I'll do my best tomorrow to tone down the obnoxiousness and arrogance, but man, I have to roast these fuckwits into oblivion when they make such abominably bad calls and keep them accountable. Now, it's important to understand, it's not possible to know what the stock's going to do over any period of time. At least not over a year or 2 or 3. But over the long term, this is why I've modeled Tesla out over a 10-year period. I don't focus on this year, next year. I focus on the shape over that 10-year period, the overall trend. So I've got to give a little bit of slack to folks like Colin in theory, because in theory, it's difficult to know what the stock will do, right? But what's not difficult is to understand the underlying valuation. And at the time, I was saying this makes no sense. A market cap about $500 billion makes no sense. The company's far more valuable than that. And as I record this, well over $1 trillion market cap seems to agree. And one final point, a closing statement. 0 of the people who sold Tesla around these levels thought the stock was going lower, sold your money if they were managing your money, and sold your Tesla shares, right? 0 of these people should ever have any credibility in your eyes again, period. They should be permanently disqualified for swaying your opinions on anything. But I'm sure Colin's still got a job today, and we'll have one a few years from now too. And again, massive credit to Dan Ives for absolutely nailing it. I mean, bro, he literally said 6 to 9 months from now, he nailed it. Dan is really growing on me. Want more content? Early access? A bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR or I can keep going. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, These are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.